Hi everybody, this is Jeff Berlin. A couple of years ago I did a video from my residence in Clearwater, Florida, but I'd like to review this topic here for our YouTube group, for some of you who might not have seen it, because I think it's important. Groove is obviously a very important term and a very important musical characteristic that many people pursue. What I wanted to share with everybody are two thoughts, and I'm going to use Stanley Clarke's School Days to demonstrate my thoughts, which is that groove, in regards to playing, isn't first in the level of importance, it's last. It's not the first thing that we bass players should regard when we play. It's actually the last thing, and I'll explain that in a minute. The second thing about groove is that there is a popular notion that you should not sacrifice a groove to find a note, meaning that if you're playing and you may play a wrong note, that you don't want to lose the groove by looking for the right note. I'll address this first. For the most part, bass players that play already know their music. They know what they're supposed to play. It's rare that anybody plays. I'll play a Stanley line. Oh, I made a mistake. I better stop and figure it out on the gig. It doesn't happen. What happens we usually keep going. It's rare to see anybody at any particular time make a mistake and lose anything. So the notion that you might want to not sacrifice a groove in order to find a right note, generally in the performance reality of music doesn't happen. So getting back to why groove is last and not first in level of importance, I will play Stanley's line, which incidentally is not originally written in fifths, but written as a root note line. Stanley played it in fifths, but that's essentially the line. He added the fifth in order to add a little flavor. So, the groove and the performance of that came about because of this reason, because I first learned the notes. That's the signal to everybody that groove is the last thing we do, but the notes always have to be the first. It's hard to play a groove if you don't know what the notes are. It's just a reasonable bit of musical logic here, I believe. And the reason I emphasize it is because groove is not any more or any less important than any aspect of music. It is absolutely equal to the need to articulate well, to play the right notes, to have a good tone, and to groove. A performance of music, now I'm in performance, is not based upon one aspect as superior over another, because then you're undermining other aspects that makes a good performance. I'll groove and I'll miss the notes. Now I'll play the notes. You had two performances to compare. The notes must be first so that you'll have something to groove. And essentially, groove is no more and no less important than any other aspect of music. It's almost like saying that a verb is more important than an adverb or a noun. It does not apply. You don't have a hierarchy of important in grammar. And since people regard music as communication and a language, if people actually can regard, music as a language, and if we regard language as a language, you can't state with sincerity that a verb is more important than a pronoun. It doesn't apply. So this is just a thought for you. Of course, you ponder these thoughts, and you'll agree or not, and I certainly let people ponder this. But here is a homework for you. Take School Days and play it not in this position in the open string, but play it starting on B flat. and watch what happens when you go. Now, I messed up because I never played it in B flat. And I didn't do that on purpose. I messed up. So what does this show me is that I have to learn the notes first. So then I can eventually I'm a good student and I learn quickly, so I can fix my mistakes. So there you have it. There is no first a groove as a first principle in terms of learning and playing. It's last. It's actually visible on a bass. Since you look at the frets, the first thing you see is a need to play a note. It's actually visible on the physical instrument. So consider this. There is no hierarchy. Groove is not last, groove is not first, and learning does not require groove. Performance does, and groove is a reward for having learned well. Try School Days starting on B flat. Try it in B. And the reason the different key is because it takes you out of your comfort zone, and it'll show you what the priority is, which is the notes, to be learned so that then you could become great performers in it, thus playing a great groove. Does this make sense? I hope so. Just think about it. I know I'm sometimes suggest things that isn't that popular, but I've been around academic music a long time, and I've come to some thoughts that might be interesting to ponder, and I hope that it has benefits for you all. So I want to tell everybody, thanks for being here with me. And they told me not to talk when I'm playing, but there you go. Thanks very much. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel for new content weekly.